I know it's early still. We still got a few people to get to join. You know, we're going to give the first 5 minutes to let everybody catch up. So just hang out with us. I'm over here playing with some instrumentation, things that I'm going to need for this lovely demo. Just kind of angling it for a quick grab and go kind of situation, a toolbox. I literally have a toolbox. I love it. Makes me smile very, 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 very much. I'm already gloved up. This is one of those, it's super easy, but there's a time component to today, so I'm going to be moving at a pace. Not even a brisk pace, but, you know, somewhere in between a walk and a jog, right? It's pace. Okay? But we're good to go. They just got to rock with me today. We're waiting to see everybody else to join on.
Well, can you talk about what we're making, Chef? And introduce yourself, because you didn't do that.
Oh, okay. I think people knew who I was. You know what I'm saying? My celebrity was pre.
No.
Anyway, no?
No.
I was walking down the road. You could just let me keep going. Not at all. All right. So, my name is Chef Chad Cherry. I will be your host today. We are doing healthy holiday meal, right? So this is a play on Thanksgiving. I'm not using an oven, so I'm going to show you guys how to do this on the skillets, on the stovetop, which would be really cool. It takes a little more cognitive effort. Like, you actually got to pay attention, just a smidge. But it's easy. It'll be quick. We're going to get this done in an hour. It'll be fun. And by the time you're done, you're going to have something new to add to your repertoire. And once again, don't focus on the recipe. Focus on the technique, right? So that you can employ anything I'm showing you in a myriad of ways. And basically just step up your kitchen game, right? Your kitchen culinary arsenal. This is one of those videos that gets that whole thing up. So hang out with us, stay tight.
What are we making?
Oh, I didn't even do that. Man, I'm ready to cook. You talk about what we make, I'm ready to jump in. All right, so let's talk about what we've got going on here. You have Cornish game hens, or Cornish hens, as we like to say. Cornish hens, interesting, they're not baby birds. They're a specially bred small piece of chicken, right?
Poultry.
Especially bred small poultry, yeah. To be small enough that you can give one whole bird. It's a presentation thing. People thought it was dope back in the day to be able to put a whole chicken on a plate, so they bred Cornish hens to be small for that purpose. We've got broccoli, cauliflower, carrots. Okay, so we're going to use these in a few ways. We've got green beans and some organic cream of mushroom soup. We see the green bean casserole forming over here. We've got some stuffing. So basically, just like Thanksgiving recreated. The coolest thing about what we're doing with these Cornish hens, I'm going to show you how to skillet braise them. Okay, braising is when you cook in a liquid, but the same technique that we're starting out with is what you can use if you ever want to fry them. So if you want to do fried Cornish hens for Thanksgiving, or if you want to use fried turkey, this is the same technique, just on a larger scale. Okay, that's not super healthy, so I'm just telling you how to start it, but you know, we're doing the healthy stuff today. All right, are we at our 305?
We are at our 305.
Ooh, we're at our 305. Let's get it.
What you drinking? Iced tea? Nice.
Green tea, the drink of champions. All right, so I want some potatoes, what we like to call aromatics. Just a couple of little things. I want them in with our Cornish hen right there, right? So I'm just cutting them big. They don't have to be small. You can cut them small if you like. I pre-washed them just to save us some time. So now we're literally just cutting them into quarters. I'm not doing anything fancy, but like I said, if you want to do something fancy or smaller, all you do is you would take this quarter and just cut it in half, right? We don't need to do that. Nice fat chunks of potatoes. I'm okay with all of that, right? No issues there.
Could I use sweet potatoes or, so in Belize we call, I'm not sure what we call it actually. So in Belize we call, there's a special kind of potato. Well, it's actually not a potato. It's a special kind of potato-like vegetable that we call chocho. I'm not sure what that is here. It has like a different consistency when you boil it. It's more translucent. It's less starchy. We call it chocho. it looks like a potato, but I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, my power went out. There we go.
There you go.
Okay. All right, cool. I'm gonna preheat my skillet and keep talking, babe.
So could
Preheat my skillet to high.
Could we use sweet potatoes, or I was trying to figure out, my mom uses chocha, like that thing that looks like a potato. I don't know what that's called.
You can use yam, you can use roots, which I think with chocho is like a root. You can use squash. I'm using just some regular red potatoes here. If you notice, one of the first things we're going to do, because we're trying to take out some of the calories, is we are not going to add any butters. So this is going to be like a butter-free kind of Thanksgiving version, which
butter-free.
All my Paula Deen fans out there, I am breaking your heart. My mama, even who's a Southern chef, she gonna be like, "What you mean no butter, boy?
No butter on a Cornish hen."
And while I'm waiting for this to finish, I am going to cut a couple of these in half, just because as I'm standing here thinking about it, it might save me a little bit of time. So the roll of the potatoes is actually really interesting in this dish. Normally, whenever you're going to do something with a bird, a chicken, a turkey, right, even a Cornish hen, you're going to bake it. And you're going to bake it for, at least an hour for a Cornish hen, right? Even though these are very small birds. Here, we are going to do it in a skillet, so we've got to figure out doneness. So the potatoes will also act as a doneness indicator for me. So not only are they a great side, but I can look at the potatoes and I can say, oh, the potato's just about done. I can check the Cornish hen because they should have a similar cook time. So it serves two purposes. So in culinary, you learn that pretty fast, that you got to have, you got to do multiple things at once. You can't just do one thing.
Can you talk about like portion control? Thanksgiving is coming up. We are, if you're watching this on a recording, it's November 5th today. Happy anniversary, babe.
Happy anniversary, babe. Yes, this is our anniversary.
So it's November 5th today. So if you're watching this on a recording, it is before Thanksgiving. And we definitely want to talk about portion size and portion control. The holidays are coming up. This is this is considered a holiday meal. But a lot of times we have so much leftovers, and there's just so much food on Thanksgiving. And we just try to eat our way through the day.
And so you're right. I'm doing two things at once here. I'm just making some cuts.
Are you cutting all the way through?
I'm going to do somewhat of that. It's not going to go all the way through right now, right? There's some bones and some other stuff we've got to work around. But portion control is simple. The more you see, the more you're going to eat. So what we're going to do is we're going to apply that principle to healthier lifestyles, and we're going to do smaller portions of everything. That is a huge trick to a healthier holiday portion. When I say small portion, I mean even down to using a smaller plate. Cornish hens, like I said, you see this bad boy? That's not a big Cornish hen. This was designed to give one person a whole Cornish hen. We are not going to do that. We are only going to go with halves, okay? We're going to give half of a Cornish hen. Now I'm cutting it in a bowl because I'm letting some of the juices drain out, and I really just have to open her up. You don't have to totally cut it in half, right? You see this? We're just opening her up. Now, she's been brining. A brine is a very salty, spicy, semi-sweet, herb-filled mixture of, I put water, there's some beer in here. Beer is so good in brining. Sugar, salt, a few other things, some spices, and you let it sit. And as it defrosts, the seasoning from that comes into this chicken here. And it really is wonderful. Like I said, all we're going to do is open it up.
And
my knife is now contaminated, so I'm going to put this into my contaminated piece. So are my gloves, my left gloves specifically, so I'm going to be careful what I touch. And go ahead, babe, you were about to say something.
Yeah, I was about to say about the sugar. So you use monk fruit sugar or a different kind of sugar in the brine?
I actually
cane
just
sugar,
use
brown sugar.
Organic cane sugar.
Okay.
I don't use white sugar for anything, so I'm glad my wife brought that up. And I'm seasoning this with one of my blends that we have. And you're going to see me use some chicken seasoning, but you got it. Even though you brine it, you want to just add a little bit. And by using my fingers, I'm actually using less seasoning than if I was using a teaspoon or something. So
is that a low so
this is the low sodium blend. This is garlic. This is herbs. This is onion pieces. There's a little bit of sea salt, not much. There's a little bit of thyme in here, rosemary, sage, the stuff that's going to really bring out the flavors of the turkey. And well, in this case, Cornish game, but really like the flavors of Thanksgiving that you're used to. That's what that rub is for, and it's a starter. And I want to go back to sugars.
Yes, so go back to sugar, and then we'll talk about what seasoning they can get. Since they don't have your blend yet.
Yeah, I brought it out. I wanted to show you. This is a popular chicken blend. This is really good. Montreal chicken. It's got a lot of herbs. It's not very high in sodium. You know my sodium content. This is 3% total sodium, right? So I always believe that this is something you can buy, and that's one shot for your bird. You'll be good to go. For me, I have my own blend. It's just something I love. That's nice. I'm going to talk about sugar, but I want to point out. So my skillet, see that smoke? That's smoking hot. That's what you want to do. On this recipe in particular, it's kind of important because I'm going to be cooking in liquid. I don't have a lot of chances to truly brown my meat. And no one wants a non-brown turkey. So smoking hot skillet. Once your skillet is hot, then you add your oil. Don't add it before because you do not want to burn your oil. That's no bueno.
And not olive oil.
No olive oil.
Vegetable oil. Canola oil.
High heat oil.
Peanut oil.
Right?
Coconut oil.
Oil has what's called smoke point. I know we talk about this in a lot of videos, so if you've heard me talk about this before, just kind of breeze through it. But that means there's a temperature at which this oil will burn and release carcinogens. So high heat oil, wait till your skillet gets hot. We are going to use an okay amount of oil here because we have to put our potatoes in. Now remember, the chicken was in a brine, so it's going to have some really nice liquid come out. And we're going to put it presentation side down, okay? What that means is, and let me cover it real quick so it doesn't pop everywhere. I put the skin side down first. And if you were here with me, you'd be able to smell the different aromatics, right? And I'm gonna take my gloves off. I double glove. At this point at home, you would wanna wash your hands to avoid cross-contamination. For me, I just take off the top layer and we continue on. So the different aromatics, which is all the stuff that's in the brine, right? That comes back to the sugar. Sugar is good for flavor, but it also promotes coloring. So when you buy like a browning or brown seasoning or whatever, a lot of times it has a lot of sugar in it. They call it caramel sauce, which is caramelized sugar. We're not going to do that. We're using heat and just a little bit of sugar in there in a good way, and it's going to promote a lot of color and flavor on this bird. And if you notice, I'm not going to agitate it much, right? I'm going to go ahead and switch this around. It
smells amazing.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Already. So I don't want to move it too much. And the reason why is I really want to I can get char on this one side. I'll tip it up a little bit, get char on the other side. And I promise you, like, this is the point where you start to love life. Go ahead now. Let's add in, we don't want to cool off our pan too fast, but we are going to start adding in some potatoes. So what does that mean? My skillet's at a certain temperature, right? I'd just guesstimate this is a little over 400 degrees. Pretty hot enough to burn you. But every time you put something into that skillet, you're reducing the heat. You're taking the temperature down. That means that I'm reducing the effectiveness of my skillet to brown stuff. So when I put the potatoes in, yes, I want to start cooking them, but I don't want to do too much too fast. Now, this is also important. And remember, I said focus on the techniques. If you ever are doing something and you see a recipe and it says don't crowd your pan, this is what it's talking about. If you put too much into it too fast, all you're going to do is reduce your heat, and that is going to take away your opportunity to get that caramelization, which is that extra level of flavor. Now, if you notice, right, this isn't sticking anymore. You see that color right there? See that color?
Yes.
I turned it on its side, okay, because I want the other side of this to get some more color. If you see me tilt the pan, That's just me getting whatever oils or juices are in the pan. I'm just getting them right underneath there. We're gonna try this other side. Once again, this is your opportunity to get your color, your braziness. We will add liquid very soon. The liquid will help us cook it fast, but you only have one opportunity to get your color. Now, if you notice, the spine of my bird doesn't have any good color. I don't like that. Y'all like that? Mm-mm. Nah, right?
No.
We like color. So let's go ahead. Let's check this side. That's okay. We can get a little bit more over there, right? We can get a little bit more. Let's give that 30 more seconds like that. Okay. Then we're going to flip it. I'm going to color the middle, and then we are going to be ready to really do some more of the cooking. I still haven't added more potatoes in yet. Don't worry about it. They'll go in. Let's talk about our next item while we do this. Okay. And we can start prepping it, because in this world of culinary, we got to, in my favorite words, KIM.
Keep it moving.
Keep it moving. Our next dish is going to be a green bean casserole. Let's pull out the ingredients. A couple of super dope things. Green bean casserole, right? Blang. Okay. And voila. Okay.
Interesting. Harvest snaps. Green pea snaps.
Can you show this to the camera? Can you
yes.
zoom in? Can you show that? I'm gonna double check the my bird real quick.
So these are harvest snaps. They're good for a chip alternative. They are a great snack. Green pea snap crisps.
Yes. So what's gonna happen is, in a traditional green bean casserole, I would have a few more ingredients. I'd have some butter, I'd have some milk, I'd have some cheese, crispy fried onions. Here, we dump it down, rather simple. The whole green beans, which are frozen, which I prefer, they give you a little more body than the canned green beans, which tend to get a little mushy. Some organic cream of mushroom soup, right? And some lentil snaps. We have no butter, no cream. This is going to be our magic binder. We're going to saute these first, add this in, and then we top it with this for our crunch and a little bit of flavor. And it's going to be amazing. 4 items. You won't miss any of the milk or butter. Let's get back to the chicken, because I want you to see where we're at, right? You see this here? Let's flip this over. We are now at a place where we want to go to the inside. Add just a little more oil, not too much. Put your bird down. Now we're cooking it open because we've got to cook the inside of this. And at this point, we can go ahead and add in some more potatoes, right? You don't have to overcrowd it. I want to add in one more thing to this. I'm going to add in some carrots. I don't know, it's just something about potatoes and carrots. When I think of a roast, it just reminds me of where my life should be heading. Not saying that your life isn't heading in the right direction, but if you're doing this, it is definitely taking an improvement, right? This is a turn for the best.
It's also good to just add that much, some veggies to your meal. Like you're adding some good bulk, good flavor.
And I'm going to take that chicken seasoning, because I said you can use it, and I'm going to show you. My thing doesn't want to open. Always season from high. We're just going to do a light pass. We're not going to go heavy, right? Just a light pass. Okay? You don't need heavy. This bird has a lot of flavor. And when you see my very next move, y'all going to be like, it's one of these, all right? Now, I'll take that to the camera. I know, I have a little bit of awesome in me. I appreciate y'all. Okay. The brine. In a normal recipe, they're going to tell you to get some chicken broth. This brine right here. Ooh, daddy. Ooh, daddy. Come on. Come to me. I talk to my food. You just have to ignore it. My wife is an expert at that. Doesn't mean she doesn't love me, right, babe?
I love you. I definitely ignore it, but I love you.
Okay. What we're going to do now is we're going to bring this whole thing back to a boil, right? I'm going to cover it with a couple of pieces of foil. I'm going to move it to the back eye over here. We're going to bring it to a boil, and we are going to continue. Now, if you wonder why we added the liquid, it's very simple. not only will this liquid give us a lot of flavor, okay, but it's going to keep the chicken moist, so all of that's going to go in there, it's going to circulate. Most importantly, though, it's going to help cook it faster. Water is one of the easiest mediums to conduct heat. So it's either going to remove heat or conduct heat, right? It's a conductor. In this case, it's going to conduct heat and flavor. We're going to put this on the back. Like I said, we're going to
I can't believe you're making a Thanksgiving meal in an hour.
Ow.
I mean, we've done Thanksgiving meals that have taken
But you know why,
24
right?
hours.
Shoot, 3 days.
Yes.
3 days. That's the thing, man.
I mean, that's cooking for a whole lot of people, but
still, no. Listen, who here with their family, I'm putting another skillet on to preheat. Who here with their family has ever gone to cook a meal, a Thanksgiving meal, and you were in the kitchen for all those hours, you ate for maybe 2 hours, an hour and a half, and then guess what?
Yeah.
You had to clean up. No, sir. Put my wok on. My wok is smoking. You already know what it is. A little bit of spray. Once again, we're using no butter. Spray is just like, you want to use it just like the olive oil. You want a hot skillet first. Now, if you ask, why am I using a wok? Answer is simple. The wok gives me a lot of space to work, and it gets hot very fast, as you saw. So I'm going to use the wok. I'm going to season each layer. I prefer a bold seasoning called Gourmet Burger.
I really want that veggie seasoning, though.
You want the veggies? All right, well, look.
I mean, you could put the Gourmet Burger, but I love that veggie seasoning.
When my wife speak up, I listen. Any man that are watching, you learn this, right? That's another thing, too. I got to touch on that, right? People ask me as a chef all the time. They say, yo, chef, you know, how does your food come out so good? What's your thing? What's your secret? And I tell them, and you notice I only swept once, right? Like it was one good sweep. This has very little salt, so we need to add one extra seasoning in there. And just because no, we don't. We have the soup for that. Soup has a good amount of sodium, so let's not add an extra seasoning. Thank you, babe. You caught me.
Yep.
But my one secret, if I could share with you, and this is for the kitchen, but I think it could be applied to everyday life as well. When I cook, I am not cooking for anybody other than my wife and kids. Hear me. And they're like, oh, chef, but didn't someone hire you to cook? Aren't you cooking for them? No. My target audience is my wife and kids. If they love it, I know it's amazing. And by only cooking for a select few people, find the 1 or 2 people in your life that you want to do this for. Culinary, music, art, whatever it is. Do it for just a select few people. And what happens is the results are phenomenal because you took all that pressure off. I don't think about cooking for 100 people, 200 people. When we do Southeast Wine Food, 5,000 people, I'm not thinking about them. Mm-hmm. If my wife and my kids love what I'm doing, I'm happy. That's a secret. That's a little chef wisdom. Chef Chad wisdom. I hope you liked it. I'll be back again later for another one. Sauteing, they're frozen. You were going to say something? I saw you.
I was just laughing.
Okay. Let's do this here. This is going to be, it's going to seem unusual. So you understand what I'm doing. The saute is giving, and let me see if I can find a piece down here. Oh, yeah. Come on. Don't hide from me. It's just you know you want to talk to me, man. Nate?
Baby.
Yes?
You're seeming a little special.
But it's okay. I'm not too special. There's a reason,
You're
right?
hunting green beans.
Yes. See this char? That char, I always talk about building flavor. So in the beginning, those green beans that hit the bottom, they got a little char. That is building flavor. That's something that you absolutely must do. And now that we have that level of char, now we add our soup. That's a technique. So I know I sounded special. I apologize. I'm not special. Well, I am special.
You are very special.
But the char,
in such a good way.
The char, you see it again, it adds that level of flavor. So once you've got a little bit of char, your green beans are not fully defrosted. This is when you want to add in your soup. Now, this is condensed soup. It's gluten-free. Ingredients-wise, and I want to talk about this because it's important. first ingredient is water, mushrooms, cream, cornstarch, which is the thickener, rice flour, sea salt, garlic powder, onion powder, right? More garlic. This means that this can has to be rehydrated. We have to add more liquid to it. So this is where you get to decide how creamy you want this. At this point, because we don't want to burn the soup, go ahead, turn your skillet down to like a 4, right? A little bit under medium.
And I know we would add like butter, milk, cheese, all of that. This is just gonna come back.
This is gonna come back. Now remember,
without
the
fats.
Exactly. And the frozen veggies already have some liquid in them.
Mm-hmm.
So what you want to do is you want to put this in. You want to cook it a little bit, and we're gonna add a little bit of water, but we're gonna wait because it determines how much water you add. As I was saying, a condensed soup is basically a soup with a lot less water. So I'm gonna add some into my can because my can has a lot of the good stuff from the soup in there. And I'm just gonna switch it around a little bit. I paid for all that soup. I wanna use all that soup. So I'm just using it to get some. And I'm watching this and I'm gonna add in. The more water you add, the more liquidy this dish is gonna be. Does that make sense? Did I say that right?
Yes, yes.
Liquid. I know
so
because
we're trying to, because we're doing a casserole. We're doing a casserole, not like green bean soup.
Exactly. So you wanted to say something. Yes, I did say scientific. I was on purpose.
Yeah, on purpose. I was sliding that.
My wife has a way of just ignoring me sometimes. She'd be like, y'all can't see her face. I'm telling you, it's hilarious. Half the things I do to mess with her. We've been doing so many demos. What is this, 10 years of demos?
10 years of demos.
This is literally our anniversary today, though. So we're being extra
wedding
special.
Anniversary, not work anniversary,
not work.
but
wedding anniversary.
Yeah, we've been working together.
And so I have to mess with her. I have to. Now you notice though, look at this though real quick, right? Back to all seriousness. That to me is already starting to look pretty phenomenal. It's not cooked yet. This is actually the thickness I want, but it's not cooked yet. So now we're gonna add a little bit of water. You asked me how much? I'd say about 1/4 cup. I did not fill the can up all the way, and I'm not gonna use all of it. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit of hydration.
Just a little bit of hydration. We added veggie seasoning to this. Remember, I told you this already has a lot of sodium, so there's no other salt. And when I say it has a lot of sodium, it's in there, y'all.
So we're not going to add any additional anything, just the veggie seasoning,
just
and
the
that's
vegetable,
it.
Which has literally almost 0 salt, because you're going to let the soup do all the work. And we're going to just spread that out. We're going to, like I said, on medium, we're going to let that cook. We're not going to touch it. We're not going to bother it. Later on, when you want to plate this, you could put this in a casserole dish. If you need to make it thicker, if you add too much water, simple fix. Take a little bit of flour, sprinkle it on top, stir it in, you'll get a gravy. Simple fix, y'all. So remember, everything is salvageable. All right. Can we take a look at the chicken? Can you see it?
Sure. No. Here.
Ooh, that's boiling.
You gotta move the foil, sir.
Oh, sorry. That is boiling. That is what we want. We want the boil. Okay? That's what's gonna cook this bad boy. And this bad boy needs to be cooked. Okay? This is gonna be done right in time for us to eat. About 10 minutes before the end of the show, I'm going to flip it just to make sure I get the rest of the sides cooked all the way. But till then, we're just gonna forget about it. Literally, leave, forget about it.
Forget about it.
Touch it. Okay? Forget about it. Now, one note: if you have a cast iron skillet, okay, and turn this down to low now, and let it simmer. Right? Give us a 3. Turn it down to low. Let it simmer. All my liquid is almost soaked up. So now I'm going to add a little bit more because it soaked it up. If you have a cast iron skillet, that is the absolute best skillet in the world to do this chicken in. This is a chef pan. It's really large. It's really heavy. That's what we needed, right? You would not want to do that in a thin, lightweight skillet. That's not going to work. You want something really large, really heavy. All right, enough of that. Did I just turn my whole thing off? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Come back to me. I do that from time to time. This is what happens when you're in the home studio and the chef steps on things. Okay.
You step on the cord.
I stepped on the cord. Give me 2.5 seconds.
When did you?
I turned it off. Either that or I blew the fuse.
I think maybe you turned it off. It just flashed.
Did it just flash?
It did.
Oh, let me double check, y'all. I'll be right back. I'm sorry, babe. Can you give me what you're saying?
Yeah, so this is a good time for us to pause for questions. If you have questions, you can either unmute yourself or drop the questions in the chat. If you are watching this video at a later date and you do have questions about this dish or any other dish that we make during one of our classes, please email us at chefculture, Kulture, chefculture@gmail.com. And that will, what did you do, chef? And that will allow us to respond to your questions. All right.
All right, let me try one more thing. We'll get it working. My bad, y'all.
It's all good. So if you are just joining us and you are halfway through the demo, we've been here for about 30 minutes. We're halfway through this demo. We are actually making a roasted Cornish hen, but instead of doing it in the oven, chef is actually doing a braised Cornish hen through the with the skillet. So we added liquid to the skillet. There are potatoes and carrots in there. And we are currently in the process of doing a green bean casserole. So there's green beans in there. They've been sauteed. They were actually the frozen green beans. They've been sauteed, and we added some organic cream of mushroom soup. And now we are getting ready to finish the green bean.
Yeah.
Chef Chad is having issues with his power. Do you need me to get you?
I needed that dish. Oh well.
Do you need me to get you the burner?
Nope.
Okay. There we go.
Okay. Let's change gloves. The cool thing is it was still hot. So here's an example. This is an electric stove. It's convection, so it's still gonna stay warm, right? It's still gonna stay warm even when you turn it off. So it still cooks for another minute or two. So this is just in here getting nice. It's getting good, right? If you want, you can see all of that garlic, right? All of those herbs, all of this little stuff, that's from the vegetable seasoning. I always talk to y'all about using seasonings that are mainly dehydrated veggies and stuff.
Which means they have the larger grains. It's not the powdered kind of seasoning.
Thickness, right? It's not powder.
Grains.
Yeah, it's hard to see in that one. But that is important because you get much, much more flavor. So now that we've had that situation resolved, I'm going to glove up.
What are we going on to?
It smells.
Oh, so good.
So good. I'm moving on to our stuffing. Okay? And I am going to let this, I'm going to make it do what it do, baby. This guy here has just blown the garage.
All right.
All right. I can fix that again.
So, Chef, the harvest snaps that you got, you showed it for the green bean. You showed it for the green bean casserole. What happens with the harvest snaps?
They're gonna go on top.
Okay.
They're gonna be your.
They're gonna go on top of the green bean casserole.
Yes.
So it's going to be like a healthier alternative to the fried onions, right?
Yes, exactly.
I wonder if there's anything else that we would be able to use instead of just the fried, instead of the lentil snaps. Even though I do like the lentil snaps, but could I use, I mean, I guess I could use like saltine crackers or just panko breadcrumbs.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
So saltine crackers, panko breadcrumbs preferably, right? But you can definitely use either one. All right, this is on a test. All right, we're back. We're back, y'all. Let's go ahead and switch over. I gotta let that cook. This is gonna continue to work.
How long do you cook the green beans for?
How long? Well, in this case, just till they're soft. So this is a 10-minute item. It's basically done.
Can I try one?
Yeah, if that's what you're into. Talk to the people. I gotta get myself going again. We're almost done. We're almost done, y'all.
So interestingly, the green beans still have a nice crunch to it. If you're gonna make green beans, that is really good. If you're gonna make, it's really good. If you're going to make green beans, one of the things you want to do is make sure that you don't outcook your green beans.
Don't overcook them, yeah. No, I plugged it in somewhere different. All right.
Yeah, so don't overcook your green beans. Those are ready. They're still they still got a good crunch to it, which makes me very happy.
See, but that's okay because this is where you add in. This is where you add in your lentil chips. Now,
so this is not a traditional, it's not a traditional green bean casserole, because a traditional green bean casserole, we would have pushed into the oven with cheese and butter and milk and everything, and we would have baked it, right? So yes. This is just like a skillet green bean casserole, and then you just crunch. Ah, nice.
All right. Just over top, because all you want is a little crunch. Now, green on green is not always what I recommend.
Well, they have the other colors, right? The red ones of the harvest snaps. It's like a different flavor. That is so cool.
But I got this one because I wanted the cracked pepper.
The flavor of the cracked pepper in the harvest snaps. Got it.
Yes, and it is gonna be, that's gonna be off the chain. We're gonna actually let that sit. I'm gonna move this whole thing because I've got to totally switch real quick. We're gonna turn that off. Remember what I said about residual heat?
Yes.
It's still gonna be cooking. So I'm just gonna be playing movable skillets.
But it's going to
turn one on.
But it's going to maintain the crunch, right?
Oh yeah.
Because I really love the crunch of the green beans. And I think that's what you were talking about with not using the canned, using the frozen, because it gives you that crunch. The cans end up coming out very.
They're too soft, right? And we know if we're cooking out if we're cooking our veggies too soft, we cook out all of the nutrients. Frozen veggies tend to be flash frozen, so they tend to be still have very, very nutrient dense, right? And that's what we want, right? So with that being said, we're gonna move on to our stuffing. Now, no one asked me why I still had items over here I hadn't used.
I was going to ask you why you still have potatoes and
stuff. So in our stuffing, I'm not gonna use the potatoes. I'm gonna put those in when I make the other chickens.
Ah, okay.
I've got some other Cornish hens here. But for our stuffing, I'm gonna go ahead and rock out real quick.
Ah, so you're making a vegetable stuffing.
Yes.
Ooh.
So sometimes making something healthier is all about ingredients and adding things. Sometimes we subtract, sometimes we add. This is a cube stuffing with white and wheat bread. Okay.
Nice.
Broccoli, cauliflower, carrots. So let's go ahead and just rough chop our carrots real quick so that they're ready. And then I'm going to show you something really cool to do with the broccoli. And as I'm thinking about it, since I can turn that off, I can turn this back on since we're sitting here while we're doing our thing, right? We'll keep that cooking. By all means, keep the chicken cooking. Okay?
Hen?
Don't let the chicken stop cooking.
Hen?
Hen, Cornish hen. Well, you know, chicken is chicken. It is a Cornish hen. Is it technically in the poultry family, right? It's a game hen. Is the proper term. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so you said all you're doing is cutting the carrots. Am I just putting however many carrots I like?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, this is only one bag of stuffing, which, believe it or not, is quite a good amount. It's enough stuffing for definitely our family of four. You know, it's quite a good amount. So we do that. We've got to open up our cauliflower. We've got to open up our broccoli, and I'm going to show you a very, very interesting technique here. So at this point now, I do want to come back and preheat the skillet because I want to put my carrots in. They're hard. They're baby petite carrots, so they're soft, but they still have a little bit of crunch, which is going to give you some mouthfeel, some texture. Looking at my chicken, that looks amazing. Go ahead, turn you off for a second. Turn you back on. Playing musical chairs with the skillets. All right, preheat this. Let's get ready to prep our cauliflower.
And while
we went to that next.
And while you prep the cauliflower, one thing we did not talk about is
I'm just cutting the core out, guys.
One thing we did not talk about is doing the Cornish hen in the oven. I assume that we could just roast it in the oven and not braise it, right? Not do it on a skillet, right?
Yeah, all I did was I just traced the inside of the cauliflower core, and it gets rid of all of that. And then we're ready to work with this cauliflower. Yeah, you can do the exact same method of just brining the chicken and then the Cornish hen, and then once it's brined, you put it into a roasting pan and put that into the oven. Cover it with foil. The reason why is when you're a common mistake with turkey, you're cooking it and the outside of it is very, very brown because it's in there for a long time, but the inside's not cooked yet. So it ends up looking burnt on the outside. You don't want that. So in the first hour, cover with foil. And then when it's nearing almost doneness, you take the foil off. You use this bad boy or a basting brush to baste it, and you let it brown at the top there, right? And that's really the magic to doing
Cornish hens
in the
turkeys,
chickens,
roasted chicken.
Yeah. It's just, everything has a cook time. So you want to look up the cook times for turkeys or chickens, and it goes by pound, which is why I like Cornish hens, because at most, this bird is maybe 2 pounds at most. I'm going to go ahead and have that finished in basically under an hour, which is why we're able to even attempt to do this in skillet in an hour's time frame. Otherwise, we would have to not do that so much, right? You'd have to kind of like work that through. So let's go ahead. Let's cut these a little bit smaller.
So we're getting ready to do a vegetable hearty stuffing.
Yeah.
Normally when you do stuffing for me, you add craisins.
Yes.
Because they make me happy.
Sweet. Yeah, we like a
it gives a little bit of a, just a little bit of a sweet. You're not doing that today.
Nope.
Why?
Because, babe, craisins add calories, and we're trying to be healthier. And it's not just about calories. It's also about the sugar content.
True.
Being conscious for all. This is a demo that if someone is a diabetic, if they're working with cancer recovery, anything like that, heart disease, high cholesterol, this would be good for all of those types. So I'm just being very, very conscious.
Love it.
Right? Got you. So now this skillet is just about hot. It does not have to be as hot as my my skillet for my chicken because I don't necessarily need to caramelize. What I want to do is I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to use spray this time, not even using oil. Just going to drop these in. You hear that little, that's telling you that it was just about where it needed to be. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go ahead and drop that in. I got to cut some broccoli, which for simple purposes, right, I strip those two off. We're going to add this in, All right. Broccoli is something that, you know, the kids will eat most of the time, so I don't really worry about it too much. It does cook reasonably fast. And remember, there's something called carryover heat. What that means is that even when you pull this off the heat, it's going to still be cooking. So we're going to use carryover heat to our advantage. We're just going to get this broccoli in. We have to season this up lightly. Remember, most stuffings, most packaged stuffings have a seasoning in them. This one does not have much seasoning, which is why I like it, because I always like to create my own flavors. So I'm going to go back to, I'm going to use actually just a pink Himalayan sea salt. Really, really simple. Okay. This has a little bit of herbs. That's it. We're not going to touch it much. When I'm ready to add my stuffing in, I'm going to add a little bit of garlic. And I am already going to add a little bit of water early because that's going to promote cooking speed. Okay? Speed of cooking.
Nice.
All right? So you can hear, oh, I had a jumper. While that's happening, I want to show you my real secret technique for this one. This is what's going to trip you out. Find your cheese grater. Okay? Let's have some fun. My kids think they slick. and they will go through this lovely, I mean lovely, lovely skillet here. And I want to make sure these seasonings aren't blocking your view. They'll go through this lovely skillet that we're about to make of stuffing, and they will pick out the veggies and just try to eat the stuffing. So what I'm going to do, really? Sometimes they will. Well, my son, my daughter will kind of rock with me. What I'm going to do.
Oh.
Yep, we're going to grate it right in. Okay?
Looks like broccoli rice.
Yes, cauliflower rice.
I mean, cauliflower rice.
Exactly. So if you have children or adults that are vegetable resistant, you can grate it in. Vegetable resistant. You can grate it in, right? And they won't even know. Because in the stuffing, it disappears.
Very cool.
Cool, right? So that's just a neat trick. This is something I want you to add to your repertoire. I believe in getting vegetables in as many ways as possible. Ooh, someone laughing at me?
I'm laughing.
All right. So I actually want to switch pans because this is getting full faster than I thought. Okay. So if you notice though, I use one head of cauliflower, one bunch of broccoli, some carrots, and look how fast that got full, right? So we need a slightly bigger skillet. So what we'll do is we'll take our green beans, we'll add them over here. And we're going to use this skillet. It so happens that there's a little bit left of that mushroom gravy in there. So that's the good stuff. So
I love that this recipe is mostly veggies.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some carbs because once you add the stuffing, but so you get that little bit of carb to get you full, but it's just like
it's just a touch.
Just beautiful vegetables done differently.
It's literally just a touch. Let's get you going. I want to clean my area a little bit, so don't mind me. I'm just going to move some of this stuff over because as a chef, I believe in a clean working area. I know we're getting low on time, so I've got a plate for you. I need to check in on that chicken real quick. Flip it over, make sure we're just done, right? And then get this going. So the great thing about stuffing is once that little bit of water evaporates, you can add a little bit more. A trick is you see how this broccoli is getting a bright green versus, you know, the uncooked broccoli. That lets you know that it's almost getting done. So let's add in a little bit more liquid, not too much, because we don't want a soupy stuffing. Let's add in our stuffing mix, and then let's turn this up to get some heat going. And then we are going to go ahead and check our chicken and get ready to plate. Because by hook or by crook, we got to eat. I told you. Happy days right here. I want to just also highlight, and I know I said this before, we are not using a lot of materials. One bag of stuffing, one broccoli, one cauliflower. So not only is this healthy, but it's also like super budget friendly. Now you're hearing that crumble around. This is the point where someone would add butter to this and you let it sit. You'd be tempted to add more liquid. I'm going to tell you nay. Do not add more liquid yet. Remember what I was saying about carryover heat. Let this come together. Do not add more liquid. If you want to do anything, cover it. But do not add more liquid. Let's go ahead and shoot some foil just to cover this down real quick. All right. Let it forget itself. Let's check on our chicken because I think it's about time. All right. It's looking so amazing. I'm going to move out the way in a second. I'm going to actually lift it up so you can see it. Ignore the juices, but just look at the bird, right? I know that's terrible. It's looking really good. It has not browned super yet because of how we're cooking it. That is okay, y'all. That is okay. All right. Our biggest thing is to know that it's done. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and I flipped it over, and you can feel that it's done. We're going to let it cook for just 5 more minutes, and then we're going to get ready to plate this. I am extremely excited, and I'm sorry that my back is to you. We just have to situate how the culinary happens. I'm extremely excited to present this. Yeah, can you get me one of those? The long ones. All right. I'm going to use a couple of green onions as garnish. I'm going to go ahead and clear my cutting board because my cutting board has been sullied. Now, by the way, all of those scraps can be used. You don't have to toss them out. You can use them in a soup, in a stock, right? So you can save all of those scraps for use later on. For me, I just want to cut. Let's cut some of these, okay? And we're getting ready. While we're doing that, let's crumble just a little bit more of the chips onto the green beans. And then we're almost ready to plate, y'all. We're almost at that place. It's time. And if we're almost ready to plate, that means we're almost ready to eat. Now, if you notice, not any one of these dishes took an amazing amount of time. So like I said, it's just a little more, cognitive, especially you have to concentrate just a little bit harder on this one. If you're doing this on your home stove with your home oven, you have 4 eyes. So that makes this whole meal a lot smoother, a lot quicker. We're out here working with just 2 eyes, so I want to show you. But just remember, you can get this done, right? This is not complicated. It's very easy. I don't want anyone to be intimidated. I actually want you to love this and do this and bring this back home, all right? Bring this home, family. Bring this home. Now, I serve a lot of my dishes family style, okay? That's just what I do. It's just a thing, okay? A lot of my dishes are served family style. It's literally just how I roll, okay? Green beans on one side. Once again, the tomato crisp would have been better for color, but for taste, though, this black pepper. I'm sorry, I'm thinking about logistics here, y'all. All right, let's crunch those on. I think that's a good look right there. Let's double check the stuffing. Okay, it's nice. It's nice. I can feel a piece of the breading. It's soft. It's tender. It's not overcooked. We did not make mush stuffing. I don't like mush stuffing. Some people do. Some people love it. It's just never been my thing. Okay, never been my thing. Let's put the stuffing in here. And you see how quick that cooks? That's why we save the stuffing for last. Stuffing is just something that just is so easy, hazy, lemon squeezy. I forgot which one of the nieces and nephews used to say that, and it made me just think of that right there. Get this broccoli out here. Get this right in here. Oh my gosh, this looks amazing. Like I said, I tend to serve food family style, so you got to rock with me. Now, what's going on top? What's the piece de resistance?
The Cornish hen.
Cornish hen, baby. Cornish hen, baby. Get this down, baby.
Oh, wow.
So I like things to be a little browner. This is a skillet. We're not going to really worry about it too much. We are going to have some fun with this either way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're going to pour some of that right over top. Ladle it, right? I got to get some of these in here. Okay?
Yeah.
Got to just put a little bit of that in there.
That is amazing. Look at all those veggies. That's green beans and broccoli and cauliflower and carrots and potatoes.
Now, I want to note, if I was doing a cooking show and this wasn't real life cooking, my assistant would have came through the blowtorch and crisped up this chicken, makes it look perfectly brown. That's what they do. I want to show you a real life because I want you to be able to replicate it. If you throw this in the oven for just 15 minutes, it will brown out, okay? But right now, it is fully cooked. It is done. It is ready to eat. No, it's not perfectly brown, but this is real cooking. Let's go. It looks amazing. I'm loving it. This was our quick Thanksgiving, of course. Don't forget your accoutrement, your cranberry sauce, right? If that's what you like, and any other sides. But green bean casserole, fresh veggie stuffing with white and wheat stuffing, and a skillet braised Cornish hen. Phenomenal. I love it. I'm your host, Chef Chad Cherry. Thank you so much. Any questions?
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. If you are watching this on recording and you do have questions about this recipe or any other recipe that we do, please feel free to email us. That is chefculture, KULTURE, chefculture@gmail.com. Thank you so much. We will see you next time for another healthy holiday cooking with Chef Chad.
Is it gonna be another healthy holiday?
Yeah, we're gonna go through the rest of November, helping people to
spruce up their holidays.
Yeah, helping people to spruce up their holidays. The next class is actually going to be healthy partytizers.
Oh, let's go!
Which I'm so excited about.
I
think we have bacon wrapped figs or bacon wrapped dates,
probably,
and then mascarpone. Mascarpone and crazy, yeah.
Okay.
Mascarpone pops and probably one more.
Yeah. Some stuff. Okay. I'm in.
All right.
We're good.
All right. Awesome. Thank you, everyone. See you next time.